Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
All right, so if you've been following along this offseason, you already know this Blue Jays roster has been one of the most talked about, most debated, most frustrating rosters to try and figure out heading into a new season. And today, we actually got some news that genuinely changes how I'm looking at this team. Multiple updates, some injury news that matters, some roster moves, and honestly, a few things that have me more optimistic than I've been in a minute. Let's get into it. Starting with Trey Yesavage, because I think this one gets overlooked, and it really shouldn't. He got on the mound in spring, threw 35 pitches over 2 innings against Blue Jays minor leaguers. Now look, the results weren't spectacular. I'll be honest with you. But here's the thing. That's not really the point right now. The point is, he threw. He was out there. He competed. Because we've heard so many times from front offices, oh, he's fine, he's healthy, don't worry about it, and then nothing. No proof, just words. So actually seeing Savage on a mound throwing pitches, that matters. He said himself, it felt good to be back out there, good to have defense behind him, good to face a lineup. And the plan, from what we're hearing, is that he's going to be ready for opening day in a shorter, more limited innings role. They're going to manage his workload fluidly throughout the year. Given everything he's been through, that's the right call. And the fact that he's back throwing is step one, and step one is checked off. Now let's talk about Ricky Tiedemann, because this one is huge for me personally. He's resumed throwing. And I know some of you are going to say, okay, that's not that big a deal. Guys come back from injuries all the time. But with Ricky, it's different. This is a guy who threw 8 games in 2023, missed basically everything after that, missed all of last year. We haven't had a real sample size of what Ricky Tiedemann actually is since that spring training. And you remember that spring training where he was sitting 98, 99, just blowing by big league hitters like they weren't even there. Everyone lost their minds, and rightfully so. Then injuries happened again and again. So to see him back throwing, now even just getting back on the mound, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't excite me, because it does. The question mark, obviously, is whether he can stay healthy long enough to actually show us what he's capable of. That's the only thing standing between Ricky Tiedemann and being a legitimate weapon out of that bullpen. And speaking of the bullpen, let me get into the Shane Bieber and Jimmy Garcia update, because John Schneider just gave us something to work with here. Both guys are continuing to throw on flat ground, cycling through lighter and heavier work days. No timeline yet for pitching off a mound. But here's what matters. The Jays have been pleased with their progress. No setbacks. None. And for Jimmy Garcia specifically, that's significant because we've seen setbacks before. To get purely positive news on both of these guys at the same time is genuinely encouraging. If they can stay on similar progression schedules and get back within that first month of the season, you're potentially looking at a really impactful return on both fronts, especially for a rotation and bullpen that needs all the help it can get. And look, the rotation outside of Bieber has actually been pretty solid this spring. Berrios is up to 10 innings pitched. Cody Pond has been quietly excellent, 1.5 ERA in 6 innings, and nobody's really talking about that enough. Gausman, Ponce de Leon, the guys who have been out there, they've looked the part. The rotation is going to be fine. Having Bieber ease back in over the first few weeks isn't going to kill them. The bullpen, though, is where things get a little murky. You've got Hoffman, Rogers, Yario, Rodriguez, who, by the way, got lit up by Team Canada, so thank you for that. And then a lot of question marks after that. Brendan Little, what does he give you? Braden Fisher bouncing back? Tommy Nance, do you expect regression? There's still a lot to figure out there. And I'm genuinely hoping Ross Atkins makes one more move before the deadline to add a proven arm. On the roster moves front, the Jays announced agreements with 20 pre-arb players: Savage, Berger, Schneider, Lucas, Little, Verlander among them. No renewals. This is mostly housekeeping. Doesn't shake up the roster in any meaningful way, but it's important that things are clean and professional on that front heading into the season. And then there's Jesus Sanchez. 105.6 exit velocity off Cam Schlitter. The same Cam Schlitter who faced the Blue Jays in the playoffs. I know some of you came after me yesterday for talking him up too much. I stand by every word. The man is destroying baseballs right now, and I think he's going to be a really fun player to watch this year. Oh, and Team Canada is through to the quarterfinals. Paxton was unreal. Canada's doing big things. Let me know what you think down below.